What's going on, everyone? Coach Aaron here, back in with another video to help you dominate on the platform. Alright everyone, welcome again to another video. This is the final video in this Rules of Performance series, and we're going to go over the deadlift. If you missed the Rules of Performance videos for the squat or the bench, I'll have the links for those below, and I'll put the little card for it above. Well, let's head on over to my computer and get started. Alright, so here is my Instagram post. I have the link to my Instagram below if you want to go and follow me, so you can go and look at these and you can read the condensed version here of all the text that I put going over the rules of performance. But let's go through some of the slides and we'll go a little bit more in depth into the topic. Alright, so first up is going to be the setup, just like in the squat and the bench press. The thing with the deadlift is the setup is much easier. It's a lot less things that you have to worry about. So I have 3 points here: face to front, grip the bar, and shin length socks. So we'll start with this last one. So in the squat and the bench press, you can wear whatever socks that you want, but in deadlift, you have to have the shin length socks. So they can't be ankle socks or mid leg socks. You have to cover your entire shin all the way up to the bottom of your kneecap. And obviously they can't be like stockings or anything like that, or leggings that go completely over your entire leg. So you have to have those socks on. That way it's protecting your shins from the bar, so you don't cut your skin on the bar and bleed on the bar, because then we have to stop the competition, bleach down the bar, wipe it off, wait for it to dry, and then start up again. We don't want to do that for every single attempt, so we try to avoid that by having people wear socks. And it's even more important for sumo, because when you're out wide, you're going to be on that sharp knurling part more so than people with the conventional stance. All right, so you can have them on the entire time if you want to squat, bench, and deadlift in them. But if you don't, then during that break between bench press and deadlift, when you're switching your shoes or taking a break, whatever like that, you want to make sure you put those long socks on. Okay. Other than that, it's pretty simple. You go with the bar in front of you, you're facing the front of the platform, you grip it however you want, you take whatever stance you want, and you deadlift. So your grip could be double overhand, it could be a hook grip, it could be a mixed grip, it could be thumbless or thumbs around, whichever version you want. And your stance can be a conventional stance with your hands outside your legs, or it can be a sumo stance with your hands inside your legs. Whichever way you want, as long as you're gripping the bar, you're facing the front, then you can go and do your deadlift. All right, so we will continue on. Going to the end of the deadlift, the lockout, you have to have a proper lockout. I have the little picture here, and the main points are you have to be standing erect and you have to have your shoulders back. So you can't be leaned over, okay? You have to be standing erect, and then you can't have your shoulders rounded forward or hunched forward. You have to have your shoulders back. So the way I like to explain it to people during the rules briefing is just like how someone would normally stand up. When someone's normally standing up, they're standing up pretty vertical, and then their shoulders are neutral or maybe slightly back. Hopefully you're not too hunched over when you stand up normally, but that's how you want to be in the top of your deadlift too. It doesn't have to be something extreme where you're hyperextending your back and leaning really far back, as that is dangerous for your lower back. And also the leaning really far back can sometimes cause the knees to bend and be a little soft at the lockout, which you'll see later on is not allowed. So it doesn't need to be extreme. It just needs to be you're standing up straight and your shoulders are back. All right, the commands. Like I said, deadlift is the easiest one. So there's only one command. You go and set up on your own time and you pull whenever you're ready. And all you have to wait for is the down command once you're at the top with that proper lockout. So when they say the bar is loaded for you, bar is loaded for Arian, and the 60-second clock starts, then I have whatever time I want to set up, as long as I start my pull in that 60 seconds. So I can go there and set up my stance however I want, make sure I'm getting tight, grip bar however I want, and then lift. So you want to make sure when you go up to the bar that you start whenever you're ready, and you don't just stare at the referee waiting for them to give you a start command, because they're just going to have their hand up like this and they're going to be waiting for you to actually do your pull. And once you're locked out the top and the bar stopped, then they give you the down command and they bring their hand down. All right. Just like in the squat and the bench press, there's no downward motion in the deadlift. So we're looking for the entire bar dropping down. If for some reason you have one arm that's maybe longer than the other, or you're using a mixed grip and you're slightly slant or something like that, that is fine. But what we're looking for, especially as the chief referee, is very easy to see, is that center of the bar. So we're looking at that center knurling. If that thing drops, then it's downward motion. If it tilts one way or the other way a little bit, it's not dropping, then you are good. All right. Like I said, soft knees is what we have to really watch out for in the squat and also in the deadlift, because you have to have your knees locked out for USA Powerlifting and for the IPF. There are no medical exemptions for this, so you just have to lock out your knees. And you want to think about this, the way I explain to people is kind of flexing your quads at the top. Think of it like you're a bodybuilder, you're flexing your quads to show off to the crowd, and by doing that, that locks out your knees. So you don't want to be bouncing or being soft on the knees, or like I said previously, is really trying to hyperextend your back to lock out, and that causes your knees to be soft to kind of counter that weight. All right, this one's a little bit harder to judge, both from athletes figuring out whether it's good enough or not, and judges being able to see whether it's supporting or not. All right, and that's gonna be supporting the bar and the thighs. And part of the reason why it's hard to judge is that the bar can edge up the legs, so you can drag it up your shins and up your thighs, and that's why a lot of lifters put baby powder on their legs to get rid of that friction, but you cannot support it on the thighs, so you can't rest it like you do in strongman or you do in CrossFit. So some people call it ramping, some people call it edging or planing. Some people might call it hitching, but I would say hitching can be more downward motion. So I would think of ramping as more of this supporting on the thighs. And oftentimes the way you can see it is once the bar is getting kind of to this knee position, which is where this picture is once it's getting past the knees, the lifter will rebend their knees and push their knees forward. So they're getting underneath the bar, and then they'll lean their shoulder blades back behind the bar. So now they're kind of trying to like counter this weight of their body by pushing their knees forward and their shoulders back, and then resting the bar in it. So they're not in a proper position to pull anymore. They're resting the bar on their thighs, and then they're pushing their hips through. Whereas if they kept their knees in place and their shoulder blades in place, then they would have to actually pull to finish the lift, and maybe they don't have the strength to do it, which is why they're trying to rest the bar on their thighs to finish it. So a lot of times as referees, that's what we're looking for, is seeing the knees rebend and go forward and the bar's resting on the thighs. And also, as you can see in this picture, that if the lifter's really sticking the bar into the thighs, then you can see the skin and the muscle and everything below the bar, because it's literally like pushing down and pushing that skin and piling up underneath there. So then you can see that it's supporting on the thigh. All right, and then some of the finer points that don't happen often. One is taking a step, just like in the squat. If you have whatever stance, you have a conventional stance like this. If you take a step forward, okay, with either foot, step backwards or step to the side, or lose your balance with both legs forward or both backwards, then that is a no lift. Whatever stance you take, that is now your footprint, and you have to stay in that. You can rock back into the heels, you can rock up to the toes, you're staying in that same footprint, but you cannot change it. So one way to think about it is if there's snow on the ground and you step on the snow, now you are in the snow and that's your footprint. So you can't make a new footprint. You just have to stay into where that footprint is in the snow, and that is where your stance is, and you have to do that from when you start pulling until you get the down command. Once you get the down command, then you can move your feet if you want, which a lot of sumo lifters do so they don't crush their toes, is they'll finish the lift, they'll get the down command, then they might bring their toes in or might bring their feet in completely as they're bringing the bar down. But once you start to pull until that lockout, when you get the down command, the feet have to stay in place. And then the other thing happens more often in beginner lifters is dropping the bar, okay? So in the rule book, they mention maintaining control of the bar down, and in parentheses and IE, they explain what it is, and that is just fingers gripping the bar. So as long as you're holding on to your grip and you're not letting go of the bar from your hands, you can bring it down fast if you want. You don't have to control and do a super slow 5-second eccentric. You can bring it down fairly quick. And even if it hits the platform, makes a little bit of noise, that's fine, as long as your fingers are gripping the bar until the weights touch the ground. But if you drop it from the top, or let's say you get to your knees and right after your knees, you let go and drop it and the referee see it, then that is a no lift. So as a beginner powerlifter, you really want to focus on this, because sometimes in the gym with bumper plates, you may drop it. If you come from CrossFit, you may drop it. And then what happens is you go to your first competition, you're doing your third attempt deadlift, you're all hyped up, you pull a PR, referee says down, and you drop it, and it's a no lift, and you just lost that. So really want to focus on that. But that is pretty much it. Like I said, this is on my Instagram. The link is below if you want to go through and read through all the points or save it for later. I also have the color cards in there. I'll go over it really quick. For commands, it is the yellow card. Downward motion is a blue card. Soft knees, red card. Supporting on the bar and the thighs, blue card. Taking a step, yellow card. And dropping the bar, yellow card. But that's it. If you have any questions about the deadlift rules of performance, comment below and I will see you next time.